Lewis Hamilton didn't just lose his cool in Miami, he lost his faith. The Ferrari radio channel lit up mid-race with a call that dropped jaws across the paddock. Let Charles through. Similar strategy, no clear performance gap, yet the 7-time world champion was asked to play wingman. That wasn't just a strategy call, that was a slap in the face. At first, Hamilton said nothing, but that silence, it wasn't calm. It was the kind of silence that screams louder than a blown engine. When he finally did respond, the edge in his voice made it crystal clear. This wasn't about racing anymore, it was about trust. And in that moment, Ferrari's pit wall might as well have set fire to it. You don't bring Lewis Hamilton into your team just to treat him like a placeholder. He didn't sign with Ferrari to be Charles Leclerc's shadow. He signed to chase legacy, to hunt wins, to become the man who brought the prancing horse back to glory. Instead, he found himself staring down orders that felt more like politics than racing. And now, the full radio message has hit the public airwaves like a hurricane. The pauses, the tone, the disbelief, it's all there for the world to hear. Hamilton wasn't just questioning a tactical move, he was challenging the soul of the team. On track, things didn't get better, they got messier. Instead of chasing down rivals, Hamilton was left battling inner demons and team decisions that didn't make sense. What should have been a united front turned into a cold civil war, all playing out at 300 kilometers per hour under the Miami sun. By the time the checkered flag waved in Miami, Hamilton was stuck behind again. Not because he lacked the pace, but because the SF-25 once more turned into a glorified go-kart when it mattered most, and when the helmet came off, Hamilton didn't need to say a word. His silence was deafening. No post-race rants, no finger-pointing, just a cold, composed glare that told the entire paddock, this isn't what I signed up for. Ferrari perhaps naively thought they could sweep this under the rug, but this isn't the 90s. You can't whisper behind closed doors when the whole world has already heard your radio call go viral in surround sound. Damage control? Too late. That ship sailed the moment the pit wall told a 7-time world champion to hold station behind his teammate. Hamilton wasn't confused. He wasn't annoyed. He was furious. And not the theatrical kind. The kind that brews quietly and simmers just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. His voice on the radio wasn't just emotion. It was evidence. Evidence that something fundamental is broken at Ferrari. That this isn't about who's faster anymore. It's about who's in control. The rest of the paddock? They're watching this unfold like it's the next episode of Drive to Survive, and rightly so. Because when Lewis Hamilton starts questioning team loyalty and direction on global airwaves, you don't just have a bad Sunday, you've got a season-defining storm brewing under your nose. The real sting in Miami didn't come from a rival. It came from inside Ferrari's own garage. With just a few laps to go and Charles Leclerc closing in, the team made a call that sent shockwaves through Hamilton's cockpit. Let him through. So when the call came, his reply wasn't confusion, it was confrontation. Are you sure? After everything today? That wasn't a question. It was Hamilton drawing a line in the sand. Now let's rewind a bit, because the real story begins long before that team order lit up the radio. Miami was supposed to be Ferrari's comeback gig, a clean slate, a track that, on paper, suited the SF-25. This was their moment to claw back on McLaren and Mercedes, but instead, from the get-go, it looked like déjà vu in red. The car was twitchy again, burning through tyres like a toaster, and losing time on the straights like it had an anchor tied to the diffuser. Despite starting behind Leclerc, Hamilton got the better launch, cool, composed, and clinical through the first few corners. He made the move stick early and started to build a rhythm. Meanwhile, Ferrari's strategy team, still haunted by past blunders, faced a familiar dilemma during the pit cycle. Leclerc dove in early, hoping for the undercut. Hamilton stayed out, stretching his stint, praying the hards would hang on, and it worked, at first. After the pit stop settled, Hamilton emerged ahead, but Leclerc, now on much fresher tyres, began reeling him in like a fisherman eyeing the catch of the day. Cue Ferrari's fateful decision: order Lewis to move aside. To say he was livid would be sugarcoating it. He didn't need expletives. His tone cut sharper than carbon fibre through air. It wasn't just about the position, it was about principle. He felt blindsided, undermined, and, frankly, disrespected. That now iconic line, "after everything today," wasn't just Hamilton venting over the radio. It was a loaded shot across the bow, a clear sign that the relationship between him and Ferrari's pit wall is beginning to fray at the seams. From his perspective, he did everything right, nailed the start, maximised his stint, and outfoxed strategy, only to be told to step aside again. The timing of the call wasn't just bad, it felt like déjà vu with red paint. And here's the real kicker. It's not just the result that's burning Lewis, it's the creeping sense that Charles Leclerc is the golden child. Whether that's actually the case or just how it feels calls from the cockpit, perception in Formula One often is reality. And right now it's starting to look like Hamilton's seat at Ferrari comes with a side of second fiddle. Post-race, the signs were all there if you looked closely. No fist bumps, no usual debrief banter, just Hamilton, stone-faced, tight-lipped, and walking with that quiet storm energy. In the press pen, he kept things civil, but every word was wrapped in frost. We need to review everything, not just the race, but how we make these calls. Translation, he's not just questioning one decision, he's questioning the entire decision-making process. And when the inevitable question came, did you agree with letting Charles through? He didn't throw the team under the bus, but he also didn't throw them a lifeline. That pause, that neutral gaze, it screamed more than any quote ever could. Even Leclerc didn't look like he wanted to own the moment. Sure, he admitted he had better pace in those closing laps, but his awkward smile and quick deflection, "We'll talk," internally, was all the proof you needed. This wasn't a clean call. It was a powder keg disguised as a strategy. And here's the kicker. The whole circus amounted to nothing. Leclerc came home 7th, Hamilton 8th, no podiums, no glory, just a pair of scarlet cars trailing behind the usual suspects, McLaren, Red Bull, and even George Russell's Mercedes. All that radio drama, all that tension, for a grand total of 0 impact on the points table. But the damage? Oh, it was done. Just not the kind that shows up on a leaderboard. Because this wasn't about positions, it was about principle. Hamilton's frustration hasn't come out of thin air. It's been bubbling for weeks. First, it was questionable tyre calls, then bizarre start strategies, then setup tweaks that seemed to miss the mark. Now it's team orders. The list is growing longer than a Ferrari pit stop in the rain. And once those errors start corroding trust, you're not just losing time, you're losing the locker room. Formula One runs on milliseconds, but inside the garage, it's trust that fuels success. Without it, even the fastest car can feel like a sinking ship. This isn't just about a single radio call anymore. It's about trust slipping through Ferrari's fingers. 6 races in, and Hamilton already feels sidelined, questioning the team's priorities. And if he starts believing Leclerc will always get the nod, it could affect everything, from his pace to his passion for the project. Leclerc too now walks a tightrope. Benefiting once might look good, but if Ferrari falters in returning the favour later, resentment is inevitable. Drivers don't forget, neither do fans. Ferrari can't afford internal cracks, not when McLaren is surging, Red Bull remains dominant, and their biggest signing is already doubting the mission. If they lose either driver to politics or frustration, it won't just cost them points, it'll cost them the future. So now we watch and listen, because if Miami was any clue, Ferrari's 2025 season won't be decided by speed, but by how they handle pressure. What do you think? Was this just a racing call, or the start of a bigger rift? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.